Hello, dear students. Welcome back to our online class. Today, we are going to continue with the chapter 2 of your civics, the president and the vice president. In the previous video, we have discussed about the president, the executive power the president holds, what are the qualifications for the elections, and we have seen that what are the different manners of the election conducted and composition of the electoral college. I hope you are keeping your notes and your videos updating. So today we are going to continue with the continuation of the chapter. That is, we are going to see what are the actual reasons for the indirect elections. In the previous video, I have discussed with you that the election regarding the president will be in a indirect manner, not in the direct manner. Okay, so let's find out what are the reasons for this indirect election. Number one is, if the president was to be elected directly by the people, he could become a rival of the center of power to the council of ministers. This would be again against the parliamentary system with the ministerial responsibility. As Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said in the Constituent Assembly, we would not have a directly elected president and not give him real powers. Okay, so that means if the president is being elected directly, then there will be a lot of rivalry between the members of the Legislative Assembly, that is the Council of Ministers, and they will go against the parliamentary system also. Okay, where many different members in the council of ministers are assigned with different responsibilities, and for every now and then they will be approaching the president, and the president can become biased or partial with any of these council of ministers. So that is the reason that the election for the president is not conducted in the direct manner. Second reason is that the president is elected by an electoral college. In India, the electoral college consists of the elected members of the two houses of the parliament. Now, which are the two houses of the parliament? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, and this is approved according to the Indian Constitution Article 54. Now, such an electoral college would make the president the elected representative of the whole nation, and a clear voice is given to the state as well. Okay, so next is that since the membership in the two houses of the parliament was likely to be dominated by one party, election to the president merely by a majority of members of the Union Parliament could make him a nominee of the ruling party, like the Prime Minister. Okay, so such a president could not represent the constitution states of the Union. Understood? So that is, when both the members of the houses of the parliament, that is of the members of the Lok Sabha and also the members of the Rajya Sabha, we know that they are being dominated by any one political party. There will be different party groups, but if you take the current example, we have the BJP. So majority of the members belong to the ruling party. Okay, so in that case, what happens is that when the election is conducted, then the states, the opposition party and the other party or the other states and the unions are being avoided or neglected. So if the president is selected on from this direct election, okay, then they also automatically become the member of the ruling party itself. So in order to avoid this, and as a result of this, what happens, the ruling party member gradually gets influence to the ruling party, plus there will be avoidance to the opposition and the other states of the union. So this is another reason that why the election of the president is conducted indirectly. Okay, so now before entering upon to the oath of the office means taking official in charge of the presidentship. The president takes an oath in the presence of the Chief Justice of India. Okay, just remember this, or in the absence of the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Okay, so the president takes the oath in the presence of the Chief Justice of India or in the absence of the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Now, What are the rights that this Chief Justice of the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice of India is having? They can discharge the functions of the President of India. They can preserve, protect, and define the Constitution and the law, and devote himself to the service and well-being of the people of India. So these were the three, things that has taken at the oath of the office. That is, discharge the function. So if a person is, you might have seen in the televisions, whenever the election of the president, after the election of the president, they will be taking an oath, right? Even after the election of the prime minister, the prime minister or the chief minister, all will be taking the oath, and their first and foremost oath will be that they will be discharging the functions of their dignified position with lot of respect and with lot of responsibilities. They also take the oath that they will be preserving, protecting, and defend the constitution and the law, and they devote himself to the service and well-being of the people of country, that is India. Okay. Now, what is the term of office of the president? The president shall hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office. Means the official date on which he takes the in charge as the president of the country. From that particular date till 5 years, he will be having the term of office. He shall continue to hold the office notwithstanding the expiry of his term until his successors take charge. Okay, suppose now after 5 years the tenure of the presidentship is completed, and after that again re-election will be conducted for the new prime president, and until that new re-election is conducted and new president has taken the oath, till that the old president will be continuing in his position. Okay, now the president which has already been for 5 years, he can, already we have discussed this, he can also join or remain for the re-election if he willing to continue, or if he has a support from in the parliament house, then he can appoint his name or nominate his name once again for the re-election as a candidate. And in that re-election also, if he gets elected with the, we have seen 50 seconders and 50 votes. Okay, so then and if he is elected as a president, so he can continue in his presidentship for the next 5 years also. And we know that in India we have Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who had been continuously became the president of our country for 5 years, and later again after the re-election again he continued to be the president of our country for the next 5 years. Okay, so now what is the vacation of office? Suppose in the absence of the president, what will be they doing? That is, if the president is absent and is not able to attend or look into the matter, then in his absence, the vacation of the president, the vice president is appointed to take the duties and the responsibilities. Okay, the president may submit his resignation letter to the vice president in order to resign his office. Then such resignation will be communicated by the vice president to the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, and the reason why the president has resigned and everything will be discussed there. The president may, for the violation of the constitution, also can be removed from the office by the process of the impeachment. Now, if the president violates any of the constitutional amendments or any kind of constitutional rules, then the president can be removed from the office by the process of impeachment. Okay, so next let us see what are the different procedures of impeachment. Now impeachment, we have already discussed this in chapter 1 also. So now let us see what are the actual procedures of the impeachment. Procedure for impeachment of the president is: number 1, when a president is to be impeached for the violation of the constitution, either house of the parliament can level the charge. That is, either house of the parliament means Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, both can level their charges, and they can put their charges, put their points in front of them. Resolution which is moved after at least 14 days of notice in return, signed by not less than 1/4 of the total member of the houses. Now in such cases, if they are levying any charges upon the president, showing that the president has to be impeached, then it should be in the written form, and it should be, supported or signed not less than 1/4 of the members of the parliament house, okay, or members of the Lok Sabha or members of the Rajya Sabha. Then the resolution should be passed by a majority of not less than 2/3. Now, 1/4 member should sign that they are levying charges upon the president for the sake of impeachment. Now, 2/3 majority of the total member of the houses, that is both the houses, should approve to this resolution. Then it is considered that the resolution should be passed, okay. If it is not approved by the 2/3 majority of both the members of the parliament, then that impeachment is not taken into consideration, okay, or that resolution is not approved, okay. So then, and further investigations will be done when a charge has been imposed upon, so by the either house of the parliament, the other house have the right to investigate the charge. Now, suppose for example, it is the Lok Sabha members who have levied charge upon this particular matter of the impeachment of the president, then Rajya Sabha members have the right to investigate upon the charge. It's not like that someone put some blame or charge and immediately it is been taken into resolution and taken into decision. No, there will be investigation upon that by the other house of the parliament, okay. And if the president has a right to appear and to be represented at such an investigation, then it should be done. Then, if as a result of the investigation, again a resolution is passed by the majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the houses, declaring that the charge has been sustained, such a resolution will have the effect of removing the president from his office, okay. So these are the things or conditions that you have to remember when we learn about talking what are the important procedure for impeachment of the president, okay. So this is how the president is being impeached from his position or from his presidentship, okay. I hope that you understood this much. Keep reading along with your textbook. You watch the video and your notes will be provided to you in the form of the PDF, but still keep watching the video and along with the textbook, okay. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Stay safe, stay secure.